do is make a quick, simple, easy stew. You can feed about 4 to 5 people for $10 and maybe even have leftovers depending on how much you eat. So what I'm doing right now is I am cutting up some fresh green beans. I've gotten green beans are usually cheap, fresh green beans, or you can get frozen. Really, whatever vegetable of your preference. You can use canned, frozen corn, whatever. Remember, we're working on a budget here, so nothing too elaborate. So we have the beans here. Alright, we're going to start off with a little bit of oil and get that nice and warm. So add your onions. Okay guys, I'm using adobo. My mom used to use it growing up and I really love this seasoning. It's a Hispanic seasoning. It's just basically a seasoning: salt, garlic, black pepper, and turmeric. I'm gonna wait for those to get real translucent, then I'll add everything else. Alright guys, so here we have the canned salmon. What I did is I opened the can and I drained it. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm carefully going through this and picking out the bones. The bones are actually quite soft, so if you do not care about the bones, you can leave them in there and eat them actually, because it's been canned for so long. They kind of almost dissolve in your mouth, but if you don't want that little extra crunchiness, and they're not sharp, by the way, they're not sharp at all. Then you can take them out right here, taking out the bone. Okay, you two, I'm adding in 1 can of diced tomatoes. I took my husband to the store to get the ingredients, and he got diced tomatoes with basil, garlic, and oregano, so that's really good. And, you know, you can always tell if it's canned or fresh tomatoes. So what I like to do is just let it cook a little bit to get that kind of canned taste out. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but it makes a difference to me. So I'm going to let this cook for about a good 10 minutes. So I'll just let the onions to soften up a little bit more as well, to the point where they basically dissolve. Growing up, my mother always made me wash rice, which was like an everyday chore, by the way. But I guess she did it because back home in Sierra Leone, where we're from, people wash rice because you can find things like bugs and stone in it. I simply continued that habit of washing rice because I found out that it removes excess starch and thus makes the rice less sticky. So that's a plus for me. Other people choose not to, because here in America they do add additional minerals and vitamins that you may want in the rice. So it's totally up to you. To make the rice yellow, I use Goya Sazon packet, but you can make your own yellow rice by simply using 2 tablespoons of turmeric, maybe even 1, and you can also use 2 tablespoons of salt, and there goes your yellow rice. You can jazz it up a little and add some onions to that as well with butter. But yeah, that's basically it. Gonna wait for that rice to come full boil. then I'm over here putting in the green beans. Like I'm not using too much salt in the stew because I'm using canned diced tomatoes, and I'm using canned salmon, and we all know that canned food has a lot of salt. A lot of times you don't need to add any more salt. So I'm gonna put all my ingredients in first and then taste it. If it tastes too salty, I'm gonna then I'll add according. But right now I'm not gonna jump the gun and add any additional seasonings. Just mashing up the salmon. Not too much, it's still kind of chunky. Throwing that in there as well. Y'all, these colors look really good. I love colorful food. Bright green, red, white from the onions. This looks really delicious. Alright, so the rice is done. Looks yummy. Dishing my baby's food. And I'm dishing the stew. See the green beans, tomatoes, the onions. You can't really see, and the salmon. And that all on there. Have a little bit of that sauce. Here you go, salmon stew. What's your name?
I'm Zuri.
Zuri, how old are you? You're 2? Alright, here. Have some of mommy's chicken and tell me how it tastes. Look at the camera. How does it taste?
Me.
You want some more? Ah, it is good.